Good morning, people. Manchester United considering player plus cash bid for Victor Osimhen. This is the transfer news, the phantom of the opera of the football, and that's why I'm wearing the mask. What is the truth? We're also going to talk about the latest debacle regarding no other than the other Victor, which is Gyökeres. Calma, as per reported yesterday. This is the calm after the storm. Fabrizio Romano has calmed things down, and I was kind of also, putting out the fires yesterday. But good morning to you. Stretch your arms and legs and drink your coffee, whatever you have. And welcome to the Daily Transfer Bomba News with Mick Ruby, the voice of reasoning, the place you can come and get as close shave as possible, as we always try to keep a balanced approach when it comes to the transfer windows. Guys, do me a massive favor. That's right. Like and subscribe if you're new. Let's ride this transfer window. Grab it by the horn, send it.
And Garnacho!
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Will you be in the dugout at Old Trafford on Sunday? I will be here. Definitely.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go, people. On this day of recording, we're actually live the 12th. And, oh God, how do you feel to be a Manchester United fan today? After yesterday's debacle, it was a shitstorm of domino effect of false news, by the way. If you didn't miss, if you missed my video, the 20-minute video, I couldn't speak, I couldn't breathe. I was busy putting up fires, calling people, understanding the situation, what is going on with Victor Gyökeres and the Sporting Lisbon president, as it seems to be a bidding war. Now, let's start with that one, because I believe that a lot of people are still shocked. I believe that a lot of people are saying walk away from this deal. I believe that a lot of people are saying, well, just this race is over. There was even reports coming out from CNN Portugal that his agents was over in London and speaking to Arsenal. Well, newsflash, I got newsflash for you. That was fake news, because I actually got straight information from the agent's camp himself. He was never in London, and the pictures that was circulating on social media was old pictures of him being in London. So that is kind of nipping in the bud. You know how it is. It started off first with the domino effect, with the faceless account, with somebody with 21,000 followers, and basically a Saudi Arabian account that sort of tweeted it out that, the Sporting Lisbon president do not want to be held for hostages, and he want 100 million, nothing less, nothing more. And then he was followed up by another social media fan account, which is not a credible news outlet. And that's how it all started, right? We didn't see any credible journalist. And, I came out to put out fires. There was a lot of Twitter war, on social media. Ben Jacobs was saying one thing. Then you had Transfer Dan say one thing. You had Marco Alcatraz saying that one thing. Until actually Fabrizio Romano came and said what I said. Calma. So, guys, that is kind of a little bit in summary. But later on, potentially, we're going to do a more lengthy video to explain the legal arbitration, what's going on behind the scenes as well, guys. So anyway, as per usual, like I reported this yesterday, and Fabrizio Romano said it as well, there is tense situation between Victor Gyökeres and Sporting, despite previous pact of a 16 worth fee around 65 million plus add-on. Sporting president insists on higher fee. Now, I said it as well. As reported yesterday, it was just the Sporting president trying to create a bidding war, knowing that they did have a gentleman's agreement between him, the ex-sporting director, Hugo Viana, and actually Hassan Sentiaka, which is the agent of Victor Gyökeres. This has been legally documented in terms of voice recordings, in terms of emails, in terms of actually WhatsApp messages. So that stands ground in the sports of arbitration in FIFA rules. So let's nip that in the bud. So that was pretty much not true. The pact was done by Hugo Viana and agent Hassan Sentiaka, and it's well documented, meaning Gyökeres holds all the leverage at this moment. And the cards versus Sporting. The beacon of transfer confirmed it pretty much. And we go into Fabrizio Romano saying that despite previous pact of existing worth fee around 65 minutes. Sporting president, sporting president, wants higher fee. It's still under 100 million clause, but not 65 million now. Gyökeres described as furious. So that means that if we're going to continue on that gravy train, it means that Gyökeres holds all the card and his agent. And today in the modern world of football, agents holds the power. If a player already forcing his move, that actually lowers down the price. So eventually the president of sporting need to bow down, right? You don't want to keep a player that is unhappy. You certainly don't want, and that is kind of lower down the price than actually increasing the price, if you know what I'm talking about. So it is kind of going to be a very interesting situation, as he's also represented by legal representatives from in HCM Sports Management, which is no other than Patrick Poldevard. And that name, you remember, was the same legal representative that was representing the case of Frankie de Jong. So he's in good hands. So all he has to do is put himself on strike. He doesn't want to come to preseason, and barabish, barabush, barabash, right? So Arsenal in that way are in negotiations for no other than Benjamin Sesko advance, but also been told that their sporting director is kind of looking to sort of Andrea Berta is kind of likes to operate to line 2 deals to almost completion and then pull the trigger. But we all know that he favors Benjamin Sesko 100% because he suits their style of play more. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings. Good morning. And we're going to dive into the Victor Osimhen situation. We have 2 Victors in a way. Anyway, big up. Good morning to you. And don't forget to like the like button. 100%. We have Robert Niash coming in here to say, thanks for the fake news every day, Robert. And there was Robert coming in before even we started the stream. So I basically replied earlier, Robert, we haven't even started the content to explain before you come in and judge, mate. Make it make sense, Robert. Thank you. Hopefully we have Class of 99. Big up Class of 99. Good morning, whatever you're drinking, coffee, tea, whatever your beverages. Let me know how you're feeling as a Man United fan. Are you spun dizzy? Are you feeling calm after the perfect storm? Hopefully Gyökeres is a deal we can do. Yes, it is. We will explain that further down this track as well. Yale Malmin is coming in. Give me Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Yale, why do you want Aussie? We're going to talk about Osimhen, and I created a poll, guys. I did create a poll. So go vote in the poll. And the poll goes in, why is no big club going in and biting for Osimhen at the moment? There's different options. Is it wages? Is it his toxic personality, or is it others? And if others, please elaborate in the chat. Why do you think no other club is going in for him at the moment? What are you saying here? Class of 99, Mick turned into Zorro. Yes. Yeah, no, it's basically Osimhen. Like, the Phantom of the Opera is here. You know what I mean? Or the Phantom of the transfer window is here. So there's a little bit banter just to get you guys relaxed, and hopefully this mask gets me a little bit more likes when you're actually tuning in, because at the end of the day, we do this content for free. I do this in my spare time while I'm working, when I'm sort of gathering the information and news for you. So the likes is my reward and this channel's reward. Who do we have here in the house? Good morning to you. You got Ross. Napoli has treated Osimhen horrendously. Yeah, they forced him out. Similar, you can say that, you got Ross as well, that we have treated our star players horrendously as well, forcing them out the window. Why are we doing that, right? You got to ask the question, is it the wages? We forced out Rashford out of the door, because of his wages and because of his, attitude. It doesn't fit within the dressing room. Now we're seeing the Garnacho being forced out. Jadon Sancho, we know already, freedom fighter. I'm not going to even talk about that one, because basically, I think that, Dortmund is doing us for mugs here. It's forever saga. He potentially will just run down his contract, collect his 250K a week, 300 grand a week, and just run it down and go play for Dortmund again. So basically Dortmund, the same sporting director, oh my God, and the president, sold us, they loaned him back, and now potentially going to loan him back again. And we didn't even get value for Sancho. You know, I arguably to say that Jadon Sancho is the biggest flop in Manchester United's history of signings, next to Di Maria, 100%. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Treated. Yeah, it's you saying that. I agree that Sporting just playing hard ball, like, 100%. No, it's like leverage. It's negotiations one-on-one, right? So if you're going to still talk about Gyökeres, like, it is pretty much the Sporting director Hugo Vienna sat down with Hassan Santiago, which is his agent. They had it documented. They had an agreement to say they will honor it. He will not leave in January. He will stay and help them win, like, the cup and everything else. And, he helped them, right? And they had an agreement that he can leave on a certain fee. And for certain clubs that was included in the release clause, like certain Premier League clubs and certain other clubs around that, it's 65 plus 10. And that was well documented. So if you do have WhatsApp messages, if you do have email conversations, that is according to the sport of arbitration in Lausanne, the FIFA statement, that is legally binding, right? So if you are going to prolongate this, if you're going into a legal battle, who will win? You let me know. 100%, who will win? And at the end of the day, Sporting, they know they have an asset. Sporting, in that sense, kind of agreed. Hugo Vienna left, and you have the president now saying, well, I expected more money for him. Like, he scored 65 goals, 12 assists 2 years in a row. And of course, he's the leading goal scorer in Europe. Of course, you'd be stunned if you didn't get 100 million. But all of a sudden, why are you lashing out all of a sudden as a president if you know you have the losing hand? It's simply to create a bidding war. And he simply went out to leak out to the Portugal media press that say, well, I will not be held for ransom, blah, blah, blah. So there were agent versus president, leaking up, using the media as an intermediate to hang their dirty linens out in public. It's always happening in the transfer news, guys. This is nothing new. So we will see what happens because, at the end of the day, yes, tense situation, Gyökeres is furious. He is absolutely fuming. He's on holiday at the moment, enjoying, he had an intense season. He just wants to relax. And his agency is doing all the negotiations and talking. So at the end of the day, what it comes down to, Manchester United, as we know, will never pay the 55 million fixed fee. We're always going in offering 5, 6, 7 more on top of that in order to do the deals in amortizations, meaning installments, right? 3 to 4 years installments. So I believe that, according to Fabrizio Romano, the deal is still on. The deal is still on. And Manchester United will potentially put in a bid. But right now, personal terms is what I understand is agreed with Manchester United and Ruben Amorim long time ago behind the closed doors. And that is potentially why the president is lashing out, because he's rejected every single Premier League club they acquired about him. And he said, no, I already made my commitment to Manchester United. And apparently there was some reports that Manchester United put it in actually an early bid, which was rejected. So we will see how this will transpire. But I think that, this got Frankie de Jong written all over it. Like, it's going to take time. It's going to be dragged out. But usually in this kind of cases, you settle it down in a gentleman's agreement. You sit down with the president, you sit down with the agent and the club, and you resolve it. And you always end up with the solution, end up in the middle. So that is my kind of take on it. Let me know what you think at the end of the day. Good morning to you, Jeff, as well. How are you doing? Good morning, my neighbors and grateful United fans. Good morning to you. And we have Kenny from Sydney, Australia, coming into you. Good morning. Osimhen is definitely the backup option if we do miss up on Gyökeres. We need a proven goal scorer. No more Project Hoylands. Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, 100%. And if you speak about Hoyland, I did exclusive. I spoke to Alfredo Pedula and say, keep your eyes on Hoyland to Atalanta for potentially make way for Edison, right? We know that, Juventus are interested. We know also now the reports coming out that Erik ten Hag from Bayer Leverkusen also wants to bring him in. But however, I'm keep saying that if we do take, I would say 45 million, we will make a loss, right? So I'd say that more sensible from a business perspective is to loan him out for this season, take a loan fee, and then next year include an obligation to buy. That means that you get that, loan fee, and that 1 year of his contract is already expired, and whatever you sell him for, you make profit. So Osimhen definitely a backup option. Well, we all seen the tweets, we saw the report straight after that. Osimhen is dreaming about Manchester United. Osimhen this, Osimhen that, and then Ornstein comes out to say fake news. Yeah, he was never on Manchester United's target. So we're going to talk about that cool and composed as well. We have Jolim. I mean, do Gyökeres not have the same agent as Frankie de Jong? Yes, it is the same agency pretty much, and the same head of legal representative. Ollie Durson is the owner of HM Sports Management that just recently changed name, and his agent is Hasan Sentiaka, which is also Swedish-Turkish. So don't mess with them. I know they are quite tricky customers. And Patrick Poldevard is the legal representative. And Patrick represents many of the players when it comes to litigation and contracts and everything. So Patrick is actually my mentor. This is where I took my FIFA license from as well. So, yep. I was just messaging him this morning, and I do expect an answer back. So we will see what happens there. But listen, at the end of the day, having seen these cases before, the player camps always win, right? If you force a move, if you have evidence that you can present, then what is the implication if they are right? Well, that means that Sporting can be, punished with transfer ban potentially, like if they dishonor this overall contract and agreement. And this is something that Sporting doesn't want anyway. Guys, big up, smash that like button. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what is the special occasion for me wearing the mask? Are we uncovering the truth, or are we going to call the BS out? Just gonna have a sip on me coffee. So let's close off the let's close it off. We will do a more of a lengthy stream later on. Potentially we'll have a stream with Anil Kandola later on from Talk Sports. All know Kandola. He's been on my channel before. I'm looking forward to do this on a weekly basis. I do my own shows, potentially 10 minutes, 20 minutes in the morning, and then I try to invite guests, tier 1 journalists or potentially agents during this transfer window as well. So big up to all of you. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, before we go, I want to sort of reach out to Ramo as well. Big up, Ramo. Good morning to you. We need to move on from Gyökeres. Not worth wasting time. Go get me Mateta, Prem-proven, top quality striker. No Farmers League strikers. Are you calling Gyökeres a Farmer League striker? Ramon, listen, for your information, Gyökeres is Premier League proven and Championship proven as well. Coventry, Brighton, who else, right? Is Mateta the answer? I don't know. Yes, we do have, we're potentially getting the Umbuena deal over the line. There's nothing to worry about. Premier League proven, risk-free. Yes, we do know that we can hit the ground running. We do have Cunha, Premier League proven. But Gyökeres, if you do get Osimhen, he's not even Premier League proven. So that's kind of like, I don't know, man. Mateta, yes, cool. Yeah, I agree. I hear what you're saying, right? But at the end of the day, Gyökeres on the Coventry, he was the leading goal scorer there. He all that he needed was a coach that believed him in it. And I don't remember the coach. I think it was Chris something that gave him the chance, that believed in him, and all of a sudden, bang, he bagged 22 goals, right? Gyökeres last season commentary was really good one. Yes, 100%. And that got him the move to Sporting Lisbon, by the way. Kenny Fan TV, what you're saying, Gyökeres was Coventry, had decent stats over there. Yeah, 100%. But he was struggling. Guys, by the way, if you haven't seen this video, I did a full documentary of his timeline, right? So that was published last week. So go check it out. It's quite good story, to be honest. From where he came from, Brommapojkarna in Stockholm, Sweden, in Division 2. He wasn't even believed, but he kept fighting. He kept digging in. He got his big transfer move to Brighton, and he thought, I made it to Brighton. But the gaffer never sort of looked at him. He tried, similar to Donny van de Beek's story. Like, he did everything in training, but wasn't even considered looked on. Instead, they loaned him up multiple times, right? So that is a beautiful story to see. And then he came to Coventry, and that is where it all started. All you need is a manager that believes in you, that put your arms around your shoulders, say, come on, son, you are a killer. I can see it. You just need a little bit of guidance. And this is how it started. And then Ruben Amorim did the rest, you know. And now we've seen that he is the monster that he is today. So Farmers League, man, I don't know. I even saw some Muppet like on Twitter saying that, you know, Gyökeres is like Hoyland on steroids. I was like, are you having a laugh, mate? Are you having a laugh? I'm not going to mention the names. He probably knows if you're watching who he is. 100%. We as United fans should not be hasty. Amorim is doing a lot behind closed doors, so just have to be hopeful. 100%, mate. And guys, you have all the rights to listen to whoever you want to listen to. Tune into as many United fan channels as possible to gather information. But at the end of the day, you come here to this channel to have a balanced approach, a voice of reasoning, right? Whatever we speak, whatever we do, whatever we discuss, it's within your domain, right? At the end of the day, what we put here on the table is facts and some speculations, and whatever your truth is your belief, right? So I certainly agree what you're saying there, Jeff, that yes, a lot of media are spinning this, like milking this. And I would say that 90% of all these Manchester United correspondents are not even fans. You know, we all know it because they are just utilizing the name Manchester United as a cash cow, you know, spinning you dizzy. So guys, it is so simple. Just don't believe it and always do fact checking, right? If you read a tweet, follow the tweet line. Where did it stem from? Where did it start? I did that yesterday. But this was the effect of everyone's jumping the gun based on that tweet of the argument that initially came from, I think it was a Portuguese account first. And Portuguese media, they're known for stirring the pot and being the mouthpieces of the club. So don't take it with a pinch of salt, to be honest, right? But big up for all of you. Thank you, Jeff. We have Crazy Red Devil going, Osimhen is the guy we need. Well, everyone has the taste. Like, you know, I like pasta, you like burger. At the end of the day, you know, we need to finish the dinner. Like, you know, how does it taste for you? Well, good. How does it taste for me? Excellent. How was your meal? So it depends on what's on the menu. It depends on what's on the menu. Kingdom FC, get me Osimhen, please, United. Okay, let's just do this, guy. Let's just transition over to the main story today, and let's talk about it in a nice way. What the hell happened to my screen? Yo. Did I just close down this window? What a muppet I am. No worries. I just opened a new window. Sorry about it. Keep going, guys. Keep engaging. And I was just trying to reopen the article that I just closed down. Things happens, right? It's really, yeah, you know. Sorry, guys. Just take a little bit of break. And while you're taking a break, just get involved in the poll by voting, and also take your time to actually smash the like button and subscribe if you are new. Damn, that's what happens, yeah. All right, so let's go over this article. I finally pulled it out. Not that I pulled it out from my bomb, but here we go. On back of everything yesterday, like after all this news, the domino effect. And next thing we knew that Manchester United considered player plus cash bid for Serie A star. Right. So ever since January, we've been hearing these stories that Victor dreams of Manchester United. We've been hearing, you know, he's on for Man United. And then we have Ornstein coming out to say he's not even part of a list and XYZ. It was agent driven. But that is why I created a poll. Why is nobody coming in for this prolific goal scorer? This is the question that I'm asking today. If we go over this article, Manchester United plot an Osimhen swap as Napoli await formal move. We know that he's got 1 year left on his contract. We know that there is a release clause on 75 million. Manchester United growing interest in Napoli's Victor Osimhen offers a fascinating insight into what could become one of the defining transfer sagas of this summer. They use these words to say fascinating, big words, and Osimhen prioritized Premier League over Saudi millions. Yes, and that was according to Ben Jacobs, like he actually, rejected Al Hilal, right? And why did he reject Al Hilal, or Al Hilarious? Let's put this mask on, like, the Phantom of the Opera. I'm trying to be Osimhen, to think like Osimhen right now. Why do Osimhen rejected a massive money move for Saudi? Big question mark, right? Well, could it be that they only want to have certain players to be part of the, World Cup club competition? But what is the long-term plan, right? Money is not always the player's ambition, right? So that is one thing. One thing is to think, well, I'm still an elite player. I'm 26 years of age. I got plenty left to prove, and I need to prove myself, and especially by being smeared by Napoli. Potentially is that as well. But despite of ongoing financial pressure from Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal, Victor rejected him. Victor just rejected him. Now, Gazzetta dello Sport confirms that Victor Osimhen, basta alla Gazzetta dello Sporto, still seems himself an important player as an elite footballer. And this is Victor in his mind. I am still Victor bloody Osimhen. I want to prove the world. And that's why you think as a footballer, you back yourself, right? There was a staggering offer that he rejected of 40 million euros per season for Al Hilal. That is life-changing money. But sometimes in a world of football, money is not everything. And that's why I applaud Bruno Fernandes for knocking down the offer from Al Hilarious as well. Money is not everything. If you're a footballer, you love your club, you love to play football, I'd say big up to Bruno for turning it down. It was an indecent proposal. It was an indecent proposal. That movie where the billionaire comes to the wife and the husband, they love each other, and it's like, I give you 1 million for one night if I can sleep with your wife. And they actually took the bait. Sometimes money rules the world. Sometimes money spoils people's minds. But Victor turned it down. Bruno turned it down. So what is the saga here? What is the saga here? Napoli, however, holding firm, club president De Laurentiis has reiterated that any deal for Osimhen must meet the 75 million release clause, which is kind of weird. Like, if your player has 1 year left on his contract and nobody really wants him, surely you can negotiate that down because they're desperate. They certainly don't want the player back to the club. It's like Manchester United. We don't want Sancho coming back in the preseason training. We don't want Rashford to come there either. You know what I mean? It is just mind-boggling. So they are stressing. They want to get this out of the door. And how can Galatasaray or Fenerbahce or any Turkish club afford his wages? They can't. We know that Turkish, they are window shopping always, and they always come at the last minute with low bids, right? So keep your eyes on that one as well. The Turks might come in and get a fair price. Although he's contracted for next year, But it's also been reported that he wants to come to Premier League. Chelsea didn't go for him. Potentially Chelsea will come in at the end of the day. Potentially Chelsea sitting there waiting it out situation, because basically on this market, when everyone knows that they are desperate, the club are desperate to get rid of him, right? They will just sit out and wait till the end of the transfer window and come with a scandalous bid. That is usually the case. That's usually what happens. Yeah, but what does this stems to, right? Manchester United coming in here, circle as Napoli hold position. The most intriguing, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, reporting behind Osimhen's rejecting of Al Hilal, is strong interest at Manchester United. Ornstein said Man United was not interested. But potentially Man United are now considering this, like, what if we don't get, Gyökeres over the line? What if? So there is an option of possibility. You could never say no, because in transfer window, anything could happen. One day you're not interested, and the next day we change course. Aye, aye, captain, turn around the ship called Manchester United. Now, we know that, Napoli has expressed strong interest in Alejandro Garnacho. We know that. Ever since January, it's been reported, right? So it is clear and obvious. You can see that, Alejandro Garnacho, they tried to sign him for Manchester United. Manchester United wouldn't budge. They said, we only want for a certain price. But then Napoli said, we will come back in the summer. But I believe now it's going to be a massive bidding war for Alejandro Garnacho, right? Because he's fallen out with the club as well. So that is kind of similar situation what we see with Gyökeres at the moment and Victor Osimhen. So when the player is kind of throwing his toys out the pram and forcing him to move, the price goes down. So you need to salvage the situation. So, but at the end of the day, this report suggests that Zirkzee proposed in a new package deal. I haven't heard that Zirkzee is on that list, but we know the Italians, they love Zirkzee. Yeah. Zirkzee in Serie A is a killer. It's a slower league, but Zirkzee's been also improving in the Premier League, adapting. So I think he's become more mobile and more agile. And with his ball on his feet, he's not a number 9. He's a more of a deep lining shadow striker that carries the ball. Right. According to Gazzetta, United are now considering offering Joshua Zirkzee as part of the package to land Osimhen. The Dutch striker, formerly of Bologna, has struggled to meet expectations at United. That was just kind of in the beginning, wasn't it? But he caught up. And then, of course, he got this injury. With Napoli seeking an alternative to Romelu Lukaku, another toxic one, bad apple, an ex-Man United player, for a campaign that will involve domestic and Champions League ambition. Zirkzee is being floated as technical, adapt, and physical capable option. Yes, we know that. We've seen him. He could link play and bring others into the game. Yes, we saw that as well. In much the same way as Lukaku opening up his prime. And then they continue to say that Premier League path continues to attract Napoli. The relationship between Napoli and English football continues to evolve. Since the arrival of Conte, we know that Conte loves to take ex-rejects of Man United and old players. Right? He actually basically took Scott McTominay and made him to the beast that he is today. But, Scott McTominay thrives in Serie A. He's a slower league. And with this pace and ball carrier, it's been mad, right? Yeah, there we have Conte smiling. Zirkzee is not Scott McTominay, according to the report, but he offers different qualities and similar upsides. The 23-year-old is viewed as mobile, intelligent striker who could thrive in Serie A tactical landscape. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. So, what do you think? For a club on the brink, yet another rebuild, Victor Osimhen could be the cornerstone for Manchester United. For me, this article doesn't really say, I think it's more of a piece out there just to say, well, it's a suggestion that Victor Gyökeres could be going elsewhere. And in that case, the Manchester United should look for the phantom of the opera, Victor Osimhen. Because at the end of the day, this article says the proposal inclusion for Joshua Zirkzee also shows, I'll just zoom in on this one. Let me just zoom. Let me have a look at, too much zoom. So let's go over this together as a finish line. The proposal inclusion of Joshua Zirkzee also shows a level of creativity in negotiation process, not often associated with United in recent years. He's smart, he's strategic, he could solve two problems in one, bolstering Napoli while landing a proven goal scorer. For a club on the brink of another rebuild, this is a suggestion. Victor Osimhen could be the cornerstone. It doesn't just bring goals, he brings himself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you be the judge and jury. For me, this article was more of a suggestion. For me, it doesn't really carry the legs. Gazzetta dello Sport. We've seen that before. Di Marzio is one of them. He's the master of being the mouthpiece for clubs, especially when it comes to Juve, Inter, Napoli, you know what I mean? But I can just kill it. I can just give one call to my friend Alfredo Pedula just to ask him, and I will do that, right? And we will see. Anyway, I'm just going to engage with you guys, and I'm also going to see the poll. Good morning to you. It's a fantastic show to see you all in here. Big up to all of you. Kingdom saying, get me Osimhen, please, to United. Isaac is also agreeing. What are you saying, Isaac? What are you saying here? Red penalty. Yes, cool. Rama is saying one issue with Osimhen is that we lose Mbeumo, Ahmad, Mazraoui, and Osimhen during AFCON. Oh, mate, I didn't even think about that. AFCON. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the African players. Yeah, 100%. But potentially we will have a good sorry for that. Potentially we have a good integration of academy players. Like, Chido B. Martin might be stepping up as well. So I'm not worried about that one. But the transfer window is not closed, because after the striker situation is resolved, we're going to go for midfield and the goalkeeper as well. Kingdom FC saying price tag. It was wage demand. It would have gone to Saudi. Well, reports are saying that he wants 250K per week after tax. After tax. So that is affordable. But I believe that a lot of clubs, they can afford to have these wages. But I'm questioning, is it something behind the scenes that stinks, that reeks, that makes the club steer away from him, right? Or is it the fake news rumors that he fell out with Napoli and Conte that are actually affecting it, right? And I understand that he wants to sort of redeem himself. He wants to redeem his reputation. And that's why he sort of went to Turkish league to play for them and did quite well, right? So, yeah, I kind of beg the question, Yes, you agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Let me see what you are saying, Jarleman Min, all the way from Norway. The first bid, 50 million for Garnacho, does get him. It did come out last night. United wants 50 million. That's 50 million euros or 50 million pounds. Because at the end of the day, that is a pure profit, Jarle. Even if we get 40 million, but Garnacho for me, if you can sell Wharton, if you can sell other players, hell, even if Dortmund is getting Gittins for 60, 50 million, that had scored one goal this season. And Garnacho is proven 2 years in a row at Man United, right? So I say that we are basically scraping the barrel here. We should demand more. Let it be a bidding war. But on the other hand, Man United sort of bought him from Atletico Madrid for 475,000 and integrated him in the academy. And for that reason, he is a pure profit player, right? That means that even if you get 50, 40, that counts as a 2.5, 3 times on the value, right? And that means that you can spend more. So basically, if you get 50, there might be Man United gets to play around with 120 million, for example, just an example, or 40. It might be worth an 80, 100, 120, right? So, and that is kind of lucrative, either way, if you get 40, 50, 60, the same principle applies. And that means that you can go out and get Gyökeres or Osimhen or any other midfield target. Plus you sell also Rashford, which is a homegrown talent as well. Same effect applies. Yeah. Same effect applies. Yeah, I agree with you saying there, Jarle, as well. Kingdom FC getting Osimhen will automatically be a game changer. Yes, mate, it will be. It will be a game changer. Anyone other than Rasmus Højlund is a game changer. Jonathan David would do a better job. Mateta would do a better job. Anyone would do a better job. And I feel sorry for Højlund himself, because he was never meant to lead the line that summer. You remember, we were linked to get Harry Kane and Højlund that summer, and Højlund was supposed to be the number 2 understudy, but instead we fucked it up. And is it his fault? First season he was not getting service. He created goals out of nothing. Second season, mentally gone, right? I saw him in the Asian tour. He was bullied by miniature Chinese center backs. So he was like the sushi behind the chopsticks there, right? It was just abysmal to see, and the moaning from the fans in the stand. They said, "This is not good. This is not good." So he definitely needs to redeem himself, his confidence, right? So even if he stays, because he backed himself, like, I'm contracted to 2030, I want to stay here, and rightfully so. Why wouldn't you stay? Because this is your boyhood club, right? You had a stinker of a season, but who did you have to learn from? Nobody. Yeah, you were sort of carrying the burden on your own shoulders. So you got to look at from that balanced perspective as well before you judge the player and not the person, right? So even if you get, like, Gyökeres in, or, Osimhen, if he stays, he will learn a lot and will benefit. Or send him out on a seasonal loan. I say, like, okay, send him to Serie A, but if Atalanta wants him back for a makeway for Edison, go to Atalanta, because that is the environment That is where we bought you from. You know the team, you know the backroom stuff, you know the city, you know the fans. And that's going to be massive boost for your confidence to come back stronger. 100% what you're saying here. Jarlem, I mean, what you're saying here, there's a third striker United could look at. We had offer Ramos from PSG. Yeah, I know. He ain't getting minutes, and he is not ripping up tree. Do you rate him? Or could this be another one that's been, because you're not rated and not giving chances PSG, if you get to come to another club and be, you get prioritized. Now you're the main man. I've seen this before, that all of a sudden you turn this around. Could it be a loan deal then? Right? Could it be a loan deal? Could it be a last option if we don't get any of these strikers, that we go to PSG, that we already have existing relationship, to say, well, listen, you're not really utilizing Ramos. Can we have him on loan? Could be. Could it be a stopgap? You never know. Yeah, he's definitely a good finisher inside the box. But is that the profile player that we are looking at? The majority of strikers that we're looking at, if you even look at Liam Delap, is, players that can run with the ball, run the channel, right? That could press, It's not typically like we're looking for a striker that will be the fox in the box kind of striker. Anyway, after Ugarte, what we're saying here, more PSG rejects. No more PSG rejects, please. Well, PSG are doing madness at the moment, man. And I'm absolutely shocked, because Frankie Mastatugno has been now announced by Fabrizio Romano. Here we go to Real Madrid. And before that, it was almost here done deal to PSG, which was absolutely going to kill me. You got to admire PSG for the rebuild. I mean, the squad age is average is about 24 years of age. Like, they have built a big, massive squad of young prospective talents. And man, I said rejects. What kind of rejects? Ugarte, I think it's been good for us. Nuno Mendes, I would take him in a heartbeat, right? We were linked to him as a left wing back. We almost got it over the line, but Man United didn't have the money. And unfortunately, so. But anyway, so that kind of tells you, like, big nose snob for Mbappe, because they went away from another rebuild, away from these big money signings and Galacticos, and focused more on a system players rebuild, players that could run all day, not long, with mentality, winning mentality. And this is Ruben Amorim's system. He also said it. He's kind of assessed the squad and said, oof, we are going to be suffering. And we did suffer, He tried to make the best out of what he got, but he wasn't his player. So I say that this transfer window is all about Ruben Amorim. Like he said it himself, my era starts now, 100%. Ash Jenkins, good morning to you. What do you have to say? Under 100%, we need a new striker and a goalkeeper to get back into Europe. The goalkeeper doesn't need to be top class to improve as lot as Onana is so bad. Oh, Nana, what a shame. Oh, Nana. Yeah, mate, I'm not the one that uses slates or you can criticize, but I am on your camp. I've totally given up on Onana. Oh my God. How did we get conned? Has it been hypnotized? Like, He used to be a good goalkeeper, but what happened this season is just a calamity, right? So, yeah, so keep your eyes on that one, because goalkeeper, in my opinion, will come in August, right? We need to sort out our striker, the attacking line, the midfield, and the last in the window, I would say in August, we'll get a goalkeeper. Depending on what happens with Onana, we need to find him a new club, 100%. Will he go to Saudi? Will somebody come in and actually bid money for Onana? What they saw this season, it's a tough ask, man. It's a tough ask. But in certain ways, yeah, the goalkeeper situation, what we link to, keep your eyes on the Marc-Andre ter Stegen that's been forced out from Barcelona as they sign Jean Garcia as well, and that cheeky bastards, the Barcelona ones. I don't understand, right? Behind his back, they recruited the number one up-and-coming goalkeeper, and they forced him out. And now he's demanding 40 million, which he demands for them to pay him out for the remaining of 2008 to get him out the door. So keep your eyes on that one, because that's going to be a legal battle as well. And you can drag that window. But on the other hand, we've been linked to Emi Martinez, another shitster. We're replacing one Bozo with another Bozo, but he's a better Bozo, in my opinion, right? World Cup champion, World Cup winner as well. But then you got to understand, why is Aston Villa looking to get rid of him? I just got a little bit of a red flag on that one as well. And then, of course, we have Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, the giant, the 2.4 meters long giant. Oh, what a shot stopper. What a penalty saver. He's got this wingspan of a jumbo jet. Wow, you should not pass. He's my favorite in this one. Or you have young up-and-coming Lemons from the Eredivisie as well. Anyway, so guys, that is what's going on. We have Elizabeth coming in. Good morning, Elizabeth. United should go for Jota or Barcola. I love Barcola. I love Jota as well. But is there any chance that we'll go? We know we're looking at. I'm not going to get any Liverpool player, but you have Darwin Núñez that needs to recalibrate his boots. We call him Darwin's noodles, shoestring noodles, for no reason at all, because he can't finish the dinner. So many opportunities, but Barcola is class. I agree, Barcola is class. But if you look at PSG squad, Elizabeth, there's so many players they have so many good players sitting on the bench that's not going to get minutes. So yeah, the Donnarumma, I kind of think that Donnarumma, goalkeeping rumor, was its agents trying to get a new contract for him. I smell extension all along of it. So to get Donnarumma out of PSG, which has been their saving grace this season, I don't think that's going to happen. No way, Jose. So I agree with what you're saying, Elizabeth. Thank you for contributing. Ash Jenkins in the house saying a Scarecrow would be better than Onana. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct, my friend. Wow, that was an insult for Onana. Onana, I hope you're not listening. Y'all, I mean, what you're saying here. We are heavily linked with Nice giant keeper as well, but he cannot come to us until the winter transfer window. We need a goalkeeper now, not to the winter transfer window. Jack Riches is coming in with the banter. Onana is world class. I pretend I did not read it, my friend. Guys, it's so good to have this relaxed conversation in the morning, the day after the Gyökeres stuff. So call it a therapy session. Could United do a madness to get Núñez from Liverpool? Yeah. Oh, wow. I gotta reverse that question. Do we want a Liverpool player to play for Man United? Last time we did that, who was that? Michael Owens. I don't know, man. I don't want to go near City players. I don't want to go near, Scouser players, man. But at the end of the day, who cares? As long as we reinforce the squad. Yeah. So if you ask me the question, would you take Mo Salah to United? It's yeah, hell yeah. Will you take Van Dijk? Nah, fuck off. I don't like the guy. Sorry, YouTube. Strike. I swear. A striker in my kingdom for a striker. 100%. Guys, I just want to sort of wrap things up. I'm going to see what the poll is. So big up for everyone. And while at it, there is 400 of you tuning in this morning and only 29 likes. What a shame. What a shame. What do we do to get more likes? I I know how it is. You get stuck to the screen, you forget to hit the like button. But please, it's free content, and this is for you guys. Okay, so the poll was, why do you think big clubs are not biting for Osimhen? I'm going to end this poll. There was 3 options here. There was wage demand, toxic attitude, or other facts we don't know. So last finished on 19% was toxic attitude. Other factors was second and 26%. A majority of you believes on 55%. 55%. That is no other than wage demand. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Thank you for engaging with me. Thank you for making the show so relaxing. I'm in my second cup of my double espresso shot, and S. Jenkins coming in with 100% we need a striker by the end of June, July. If we don't, we could have a big problem. Well, the preseason tour starts in about 5 weeks. So at least we can get 2 players in the door. And we know that Cunha and Mbuena will be joining the preseason tour. But then on the other hand, this World Club Championship finishes on the 14th of July anyway. So yeah, we normally don't get all the signings in the preseason tour. So yeah, I agree what you're saying here, because if you historically look at Manchester United, we've been dithering around, and the Premier League starts and we get players in late and we concede goals, we lose the first 3 games. No, in my opinion, all ducks needs to be aligned when we kick off the Premier League season because of confidence. If we all of a sudden, win the first 2-3 games, that sets the tone for the remaining of the season. That says confidence. But if you lose the first 2 games, oof, we saw that under Ten Hag last season, and then he got sacked. So it's never good. It's never good. Anyway, beautiful people, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I might be live a little bit later on. I'm waiting for the confirmation from Anil Kandola from Talk Sports. We're going to have a deep discussion, debate. What in earth is going on with this transfer window, guys? Thank you for tuning in. And hope you enjoyed the stream. And let me know in the feedback section how we can improve. But until then, you know what to do. It is always per usual. And that's me out of here. I grabbed the bullet. I grabbed the bull by the horn. We rode the transfer bullet and we send it. And now we are sending the intro and exit out. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Stay calm, peace, love, and love united. Bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.
Osimhen to Manchester United. The Phantom of the Opera is here. I was joking. Thank you for watching, guys. Keep coming. Bye.